All right, welcome to the latest of the Coma Power Organic Fitness Podcast. I have most certainly in front of me Sinead, one of the key workers in Treo Waterford. Sinead, say hello to the listeners.
Hi, everybody.
So I brought Sinead on, I suppose, to tell her story, I suppose maybe how she got into it, and a little bit about this facility that's based in, I'm going to say, just outside Waterford City.
Yep. So I suppose with Treo, I have a bit of a coloured background, a lot of different experiences. Went back to college as a mature student to do social studies, worked with the ISPCC, Bernardo's, lots of different organisations, and working with families to support families. I would have been an access worker, done, completed supervised access with parents and children. So a bit of a mixed bag, which is good, I guess, I ended up in Treo as a relief worker, doing the odd hour here and there. The position came up full time as a project worker, and here I am, almost 5 years later, still with Treo. So I'm a project worker with Treo. Treo is a community-based and probation-funded project in Waterford City and County. We do work within the county as well. We have a Treo in Dungarvan, which works with people in West Waterford as well. So for the most part, funded by Probation Service, but we also take referrals from lots of different organisations, housing, addiction services, and we get a lot of help and support from the likes of the WWETV and, of course, Owen Morrissey with the Healthy Waterford initiative as well, which is what brought us to Coleman Power.
Yeah, and I suppose even just to expand on what's going on in relation to, I suppose, the different events that I'm a part of with those individuals on a weekly basis.
Yeah, so I suppose I was lucky that I had a conversation with Owen one day and realised there was some funding there for some activities. So I said, right, me and Owen had a chat about what we're looking for. And a lot of the people that we work with those from the age 16 up. There's no kind of limit. And then a lot of people that we work with would have experienced a lot of trauma, would have a lot of other traumatic experiences in their lives. At the moment, I suppose physical health and well-being is not always top of their list because a lot of them have housing issues, substance misuse, mental health issues. So when this funding came up, I like to think I kind of look after my own health, my food and my exercise and that. So I'm always trying to promote it a little bit because I know I do a lot of it for my own mental health. I think it helps me. And I think that's something I always wanted to bring in to Treo as well. So the funding came up. We were trying to look for someone that we have. Linda, our accounts person in Treo, is much into her healthy growing and sustainability and that. So we're trying to trying to educate the people that we're working with. I suppose they're far from. There's a lot of barriers for them to access education around looking after themselves physically and cooking from scratch, growing their own fruit and vegetables, physical exercise, things like that. So when the funding came, we were looking for somebody that would kind of, I suppose, we were looking towards the horticulture side of it. And then Owen Morrissey gave us Coleman Power, and we get a whole package.
You get the full deal. There's nothing I don't do to you.
Yeah, Coleman, you're like growing plants, and next thing is down doing squats, and then over cooking steaks. And it's all done in an hour and a half.
Yeah, amazing. And then it's the idea that even in the short period that I've been there, I've seen most certainly changes in people for the better. They're coming out of their shell a little bit, and which is important. Do you know what I mean? For an overall stranger such as myself to come into that area, it can be difficult for people to, I'm going to say, resonate with people that come in there that they don't typically and haven't ever met before. But even at that, I'd love for you to even tell either maybe a story without mentioning anybody's names, what maybe the experience of one individual going through the likes of yourself and coming out the other side of it a healthier individual.
Yeah, so I suppose we have a lot of different success stories, if that's what you want to call it. And everybody's success is different, and I suppose it looks different and sounds different. And a lot of people that we work with would be quite nervous, maybe, of going into a group setting and learning new things because it's out of their comfort zone. So it's great. I suppose, Coleman, you've been into Treo. We've quite an open plan kitchen and area. We've our pool tables, so while people mightn't always sign up to some of these programs, when somebody is there, they start listening. And you can see there was two the other day that actually weren't meant to be part of the group that you were doing. They ended up planting seeds and, you know, learning more, I suppose, about how easy it is. Because people think, I suppose, growing your own vegetables or even cooking from scratch, it takes so many hours and you don't know what to shop for and it's expensive and all of that. But so I don't know, I suppose there's one person I won't mention names, one person we're working with at the moment, and he's part of the group and would have been very much around coming in and cooking processed foods, frozen burgers or whatever, and throwing it into the frying pan. And, you know, that was every day. And we tried to encourage maybe cooking from scratch. But hearing from us, they don't always listen to myself and Rachel, my colleague, the outreach worker. But coming in now, and he's learned a lot more about, you know, just how easy it is. And it's very therapeutic actually as well. You can see when the seeds are being set and just the whole working with the clay and all of that is very therapeutic and relaxing and calming. And then to go on then and cook from scratch. So they're learning how to do that. So one of the lads I said now is cooking their own kind of meals from scratch and is trying and is even going to bring in recipes from what they have at home and teach us how to do it, which is not something that they would have done before. So it's really, and as well, the physical side of it. So they're learning new, like we did a quick workout the other day and they're learning. So they've now brought in some of the equipment that we have and they're going to use that during the week on their own time. So they can come in and do a half an hour and 2 hours, I suppose, they've their exercise done and their meals cooked and eaten, and it's all nutritious. And they're understanding, I suppose, from the conversations, which is, well, the benefit of eating your chicken. And, you know, I have to say, make it a little bit of a plug for you, I suppose. You make it quite fun in how you're saying, okay, like, we're going to cook this today. So, you know, where are we getting the proteins from and the carbs and what are they used for? But while they're in the middle of doing an activity. So it's sinking in, they're learning. So I think the education around it is really good. And that person, as I said, is cooking from scratch, which he would never do. So and it's a bit of an activity as well for us to do with them. So we'll help them cook, you know, and we'll get the ingredients in. And now that they start cooking one thing, we say, okay, is there something else you'd like to try, and the different flavors and things. So yeah.
No, it is great, I suppose, as weeks go on, you see people changing, all for the better. And it's the idea, like even that quote that kind of comes to mind, you're influenced by the people that you hang around with on a regular basis. So previous to that, you may have been in a poorer situation, whether it was misuse of whatever item. The point is, they're now surrounding themselves with positive people that are high energy, that are cooking from scratch, that are healthy, and looking to, I suppose, make improvements in their own area. Which again, it is, you rub off of something, and most certainly then you will become the best version of yourself out the other side of it.
Yeah, definitely. And even when you walk into Treo now, up on the windowsill, all the cartons are there, and you know they've all the lettuce and the different types and the radishes, and people are now walking over and they're saying, "Oh, what's this?" You know, and how long has that been? And you can see the people who have planted them now coming over saying, "Oh yeah, no, I did this one," and the goal was on, you know, one of the tubs as well. What goal you had in mind, and pitching it. So it's bringing up conversations and it's helping the people that I suppose that were part of the group then to explain to other people, you know, what is planted, what it took, and how often they have to water them and look after them, and what the next stage will be, and to transplant them into, you know, bigger boxes and things like that. So it's a real conversation starter as well now, and they're bit of decoration at the moment on the throw windowsills. So.
Right, and I can just even further expand on what actually happened there. One of the, I suppose, activities that I carried out on one of the days was literally to have a yogurt container, fill it with compost, put it with seeds in it. And as a result of that, the individuals then wrote down their goal of something that they wanted, whether some people wanted more money, some people wanted a house, some people wanted a holiday. And the idea then was, as you look after it, which you have to do with growing anything, otherwise you're most certainly will die, just like the dreams. So there, I tell you, anything that we've sowed there, they all have most certainly germinated. So the lads are looking after them, which means literally they want whatever they wrote down on the side of their tub.
Yeah, exactly. And like I've been present now for two of the sessions as well, and I'm learning because it's something that I want to improve on. So as well with the people that we work with, they see us learning as well, that we don't know it all, you know, and they can see we're equals, I suppose, and we're all, and that's something we're trying to portray as well, that, you know, we're all adults, we're all equal. So for us to learn new things from yourself, but also then to be able to carry it on on the other days when we're there, and we can ask questions to some of the guys that were present, what did Coleman say about this, or how do we grow this, or how often? And it's given them a chance, and even building confidence around that to kind of to be able to show us how to do things, and remember what was after happening in the session as well. So it's yeah, it has like a knock-on effect as well after that. So
super stuff. What are the other things, I suppose, that you do inside and Treo to, I suppose, either to bring them on from the position they're currently into, I suppose, a later stage where they're more independent and or anything else?
A lot of it is around building relationships. So I said, like, we're probation funded. So some of the people that, not all, but some of the people that we work with would be criminally active or involved in the criminal justice system. And they refer to us it depends. When they come in the door, we take them as they are. Wherever they are, because everybody's at a different place, and it can very change from one day to the next. And it's taking that person as they are when they walk in the door, and to sit down and to build a relationship with them. So in order to build a relationship, sitting across, I suppose for us, it's quite comfortable that we can have, chats, and we can look at each other. And for other people that we work with, that confidence and that self-esteem actually to do that is lacking. And that's a lot from childhood traumas and the effects of it and the environments, I suppose, people have grown up in. So part of our work then is to support them to, I suppose, build a healthier lifestyle, whether it's their physical health, their mental health, and to bring that back to their own homes and their own families and friends and their environments, and to support them to make positive changes in their own lives. That we can say, there is hope out there, and there's support, and there's other directions, and there's other paths, with some help that you can change around. I've worked with people who've come in and, a lot of different backgrounds where they've been involved in a lot of different types of crimes. And you just find that when they get that support, there's no judgment. Everybody walks in the door is the same. We're all there for a reason, and that we support them in whatever way we can. So we're always looking for new and innovative ways to engage people that we come in with, to help them grow, I suppose, in many different ways. Whether it's literacy, so we get ETB funding, we get a literacy tutor up, we have alternative therapy, we have help to career pathways to help them build CVs, to go further on to other education. A lad wouldn't have maybe junior cert or leaving cert. So to say, you know what, there are other options. You don't have to have your junior cert and your leaving cert to be able to progress in life. And that we try and build relationships with other organisations to help them access, whether it's further education, whether it's training, whether it's employment, and support them. And sometimes they just want somebody to chat to, somebody to process things with as well. And we offer counselling. We have an in-house counsellor, comes every Thursday, Helen O'Neill, and we have a really good base, I think, in our staff, that we sit down, we try and sit down and have lunch together. We have a big table there. It's really important, the family meal. It's another thing that we try to bring in that a lot of people wouldn't maybe necessarily have much experience of, just because of circumstances. So.
Yeah. And it's a great big open plan area, as you said, really. And when we finish off some of the sessions, the majority of us are all sitting down the table. What does yours taste like? There's a couple of pans that all end up happening, because some people don't like some of the things that I end up bringing in. I'm not eating that vegetable. What do you mean I'm eating that vegetable? I don't like any vegetables. Yes. That's what I was told day one. I don't eat any vegetables. I said, geez, I'm going to be in trouble here now, lads.
It's kind of what I do.
Oh, I got around it. Then I brought in apples, and people were cooking with apples, and they couldn't believe it. Yeah. Oh, man, you put apples in that? You put apples in anything. They're in season. They're good for you. And they're like, if Coleman's eating them, I better try them. And then they did. And then they told me.
Yeah, and I think because, like, it's great, and like, I would like to think that myself and Rachel and Danny, our manager, and Kingo and everybody, have quite a good relationship with people. But we did a taste test not so long ago, because we're always trying to encourage with bowls, and we had like blindfolds and everything, and they wouldn't trust us. No. So it was a bit of a flop. They wouldn't. No broccoli was eaten on that day. So to come in and see, like, the pot the other day, there was like a rainbow of different colors in the pot, and the pasta and the chicken, and everybody was eating all of it. So So yeah, so it's lots of different reasons. Good.
It's great things, but I always try and include is people doing it themselves when they are totally involved from start to finish, from peeling. In fact, actually, I don't get them to peel the carrots because I tell them they're organic carrots and most of the benefits are in the likes of the skin. And they're like, really?
Yeah.
And then I'm eating a raw carrot and they say, well, Christ, I'll definitely try it. And then they try it. And then that's the whole thing about it. They've done the whole process of, and now they're sowing seeds. And later on, then we're putting them out into raised beds, which they're actually building themselves. And that's, I suppose, another life skill that you're teaching them. And I suppose the hands-on approach with some people, even inclusive of myself. I went to school and college and being dyslexic, learned completely differently. And the lads might be something similar based as well.
Yeah, definitely. And that's one thing we definitely try and live by is we don't do anything for anybody that comes in. You might have, I don't know, it's heard probably maybe 3 or 4 times a day by myself that it's I'm a mammy at home. I'm not a mammy when I come into work. So, you know, everybody, we look after the plate. We don't have a cleaner that comes in. We clean it ourselves. Everybody helps out, whether it's cooking meals, cleaning up afterwards, washing up, building the planter boxes. So what we will do is we will do it with the guys, that male and female, whoever's there, we'll do it with them. Sometimes we don't know, and it's good for us to be able to say as well, I don't know how to do that. And we go, and a lot of it is about like solutions as well. So you start from scratch. Okay, well, you know, a planter box, I don't know how to build that. So let's find out what's the materials we need, how much does it cost, the different things. If something goes wrong, sometimes that can be a good thing because you learn from these mistakes as well. And we're all on an even keel, so we all work together with the people that we work with rather than following them. So
Are there weekly activities that are set out for the individuals who come in? Is there always a set Monday to Friday? What way is it broken up into?
yeah, so we do have a schedule just for ourselves as well, I suppose, a timetable to be able to say, look, this is what's going on this week. Excuse me, but I suppose the nature of the people that we work with, consistency. And one person I worked with hated that word because they were always told they weren't consistent, you know, and it was a negative connotation, I suppose. So it was like, well, you're not consistent, so we can't give you this, or you've no consistency. So that's where, while we need to have some structure to be able to, I suppose, be able to refer people in and to show what's going on, it's really important that we can be flexible and adapt to each situation and to each person, because a lot of people have different things going on, whether it's housing, they don't have any housing, or they're in the process of trying to find it, they have substance misuse issues, they're going to counselling, they're dealing with lots of different issues. So we need to be flexible in our approach, but also we do have a set timetable in that we carry out from, especially from ETB, we have like career pathways, alternative therapies. Angela's brilliant, comes in and gives the massages. And a lot of people we work with would never have of like a gentle, I suppose, physical touch. So Angela comes in and gives the massages, whether it's head massage, but it's a gentle, it's calming. People fall asleep. They're so much calmer when they come down. And again, there's barriers to people that we work with accessing those type of services and that type of activities. So it's great that we get funding from other places to be able to offer this to people. So there's lots of different. So while there's a structure, we always have to. You don't know what's going to happen from one day to the next. There has to be some flexibility, I guess. So.
Yeah, totally. And I've even seen on the walls down on closer towards the end of the room where you went on different, I'm going to say, trips. There's definitely Dunmore East. I'd recognize one of the photographs, and
Yes.
other locations as well, such as the Greenway.
Yeah, so we try to incorporate activities, so outside activities, and I suppose a lot of people that we work with would have substance misuse issues. So what we want to show is that, and a big part of addiction is finding something else that you love more than taking whatever drug that you were taking. So it's kind of find something you enjoy. We don't all enjoy the same things, so we get access then to sailing into wellness. That's funded by the WWETB, whereas the guys can go out on a boat. They leave from Dunmore East, they go out on a boat, but it's on the boat then they're all involved in the work of it, I suppose. So changing I did it myself there about 2 years ago, and it's great fun. You go off for the day and sailing around, you know, the waters outside Dunmore, but we're all involved in like changing the sails and doing the ropes, and we work as a team. So it's really, really good. We did the escape rooms. So we all did it together there in Waterford City. And, you know, it's all about working together as a team. So while it's an activity, there's lots more to it than just going out and doing something. And we went cycling there not so long ago. So we're always trying to come up with new activities. And we asked the lads as well and the females that were working, you know, what would you like to do? What's something you've never done, and you've always think, you know what, if I could just do this, and we try and make it happen. Can't always, but we do our best. So
No, and that's right. I suppose building community and friends even in that centre is something that is important for them, because they may have not have had, I suppose, an upbringing that was compared to anyone else. But the point is that they're literally becoming friends and doing activities that are, I suppose, building strength and communication skills that they previously wouldn't have had.
yeah, 100%. And you know, a lot of it is about your environment. So if you want to make changes, you need to step away from the environment that I suppose you were making decisions that weren't always positive for your community, for your family. And we would build a relationship within anyone's support network. So we would get quite close to parents, to grandparents, siblings, to just ensure that those that we're working with have the strongest support network around them. And it's finding out what works for them, and finding common, I suppose, and positive similarities and interests that we can build on. And again, a lot. So we do woodwork with Colin Flynn, comes in on a Thursday afternoon and doing woodwork. And like yourself, he's an organic grower as well. So he brings a bit of that into him. He spoils us sometimes with his, we wait for our shopping bag with our veg coming in. So himself and his partner Marie have like an organic farm. So so while he's coming in to do woodwork, there's lots of different conversations, and they're learning into, you know, I see a pallet, what can I make with a pallet? And they try and do practical things. And I always say, look, what would you like to make? Oh, that'll be hard. Okay, it might be hard, but let's give it a go. You know, and anybody that's coming in like yourself or Colin or anybody that's they're quite flexible and saying, right, well, you know, what's going on today? And that's what the people that we work with need as well. So
People's person and being there for them. Okay, in whatever
yeah,
way, shape, or form that they may need it. What I suppose
yeah.
is the general time period that people spend in the facilities of, I'm going to say, Treo. Like, I don't mean on a daily basis. I mean
Yeah.
weekly, monthly, yearly.
Yeah, I suppose it really depends. I've been there for about 5 years now, and Danny, our manager, was the outreach worker for about, if I get this wrong now, he was our outreach worker for about 16 years. And yes, so he has a lot of experience. He would find that he would have worked with people when they were about 20. And at 18, 19, 20, you're still kind of finding your way, I guess. And there it can be difficult. You can struggle to change maybe a little bit. You know, you're looking at your peers and people around you, and it's hard to stand up and kind of think, you know, what's best for me. So Danny will tell you he could have worked with somebody at 20, and about 30, 35, they're coming back and thinking, why didn't I listen to you back then? And they'll link in again, you know. So it depends. Everybody's different again. Somebody might be referred up by probation, say, look, we just need a specific piece of work. They need help. We do. We collaborate with the Road Safety Authority and the Waterford Traffic Police. They come up and do courses around driver awareness, the car maintenance we have with Hilton Hinks comes in, and that's not only involves fixing a car, but the importance of having your NCT. And I suppose some people wouldn't have licenses and would be driving without insurance and all of that. So we try and collaborate with the experts to show, well, you know, what's the effect of that, and let's try and help you. So we encourage and we support financially as well some of the people that we work with to get their driver's theory test. We support them with their driving lesson and to go on then and get their driving test. So it's all one. So somebody might come up and they might just do one specific piece of work for a couple of months. Someone might be there for I'm there 5 years. There's a couple of people I've worked with for the 5 years. You know, they won't come in every day. We might meet for coffee every so often. They might give a call and say, look, this is going on in my life right now. I just need a bit of support around it. So really it depends. It could be a week, a month, 10 years.
Quite varied for
Yeah,
sure.
and we do prison visits as well, I suppose. I've been on a couple of prison visits this year. So unfortunately, some of the people that we work with do end up getting custodial sentence, but the support doesn't stop once they leave. So we would actually go to all the prisons. We would go and link in with people to encourage them, I suppose, to link in with services while they're in prison, because there's education, psychological services, all addiction services, and we would encourage that. And it was really nice actually. There was one person I spoke to lately and would have had quite a difficult life, would have done, I suppose, been involved in a lot of criminal activity, ended up in prison, and told me that I wrote to them. So it was the only post they got while they were in prison, and they hung it up on the wall. And to hear that, I suppose it really meant a lot to me, that sometimes you're writing and people aren't writing back. and you think, am I annoying them? You know, are they thinking, oh, here's Sinead again with another, you know, a letter or whatever. But any of the feedback we've gotten from people is, you know, we don't get mail a lot of the time. So to get that letter and to find out what's going on, and the people are asking how we're getting on, and we would link in them with the IASIO officers in prison to try and support the people that we're working with to help them get referrals into services and stuff. So, and then the reintegration when they come back from prison as well, help them link in with housing, support them around any education, training, employment, things like that. So.
No, it's a brilliant facility, and I'm super, I suppose, grateful to be involved in any of the projects that I've been there with so far. But is there anything else that you'd like to even mention in relation to either people or projects that you're involved with inside and Treo?
Let me look at my notes. I found out about 2 hours ago that we were going to chat about this, so I started scribbling down notes. I suppose, I think I've probably, you know, spoken a lot about the different things, and you try to get everything in. I'm sure I come off today and I'm like, oh, sugar, you know, I forgot I should have said this. I suppose for the main part, look, the people we work with, from the age of 16 up, we sit down, we find out, look, what it is that they want from us. They don't always want anything from us. You know, they're kind of told they have to come up to see us. That's okay. There's never any pressure. We build a relationship, whether it's playing a game of pool. We have William now is coming in doing plastering. A lot of the young people we work with want to go out and do maybe involved in construction. So we do some plastering. We built a barbecue. William helps the guys build a barbecue outside actually in our garden, which is great. And we've had a couple of barbecues with it. So even to get the lads to see how that works and to then go out, and we've barbecued lots of different hot dogs and chicken, and I think we brought in corn on the cob and things like that. So, and they were all involved in that. So it's every day is different, I suppose. And we look at, and part of it is challenging the young people that challenging their criminal behaviour. That is our remit, I suppose, and that's something that is part of the agreement when they come up. We'll offer you all of these services, but we need to sit down. So we do crime awareness programs ourselves, anger management, knife and weapon crime is quite high in Ireland and in Waterford. So we'll sit down and we look at the reasons for that. And, you know, some of the reasons is not for people on the outside to look in and see somebody that's using a weapon. They think, oh, they're this, and they've lots of different names to them. But there's a reason that was their way that they survived as they grew up, and it's all they know. So it's us sitting down, looking at and challenging that, and getting them to explore the reasons and to try and help them make change. And there's one person I work with, and they would have used weapons quite a lot. And the amount of work that this person did over 2 years in trying to process their own lives and their own trauma and to deal with that and to come to terms with it and to be able to talk, their whole personality changed, their behaviors changed, how they communicated with us and with their families really changed. And there's been loads of positive changes. So I think I think I've gotten most things out anyway. So
yeah, no, and the whole idea of this, I suppose, podcast is just let the listeners and the other individuals who are, I suppose, view this is to get them to identify that there is most certainly help out there for anyone who is listening, or people who may know somebody who is looking for, I suppose, that bit of support and or community in building simple life skills. Well, as I suppose what you're doing down in Treo and Waterford.
Yeah, definitely. And look, as I said, from the likes of like yourself and Colin and all the different people that come in to be able to do, and I suppose the way you communicate, a lot of it is the relationship, because people know once you walk in, and if there's any judgment or any, you know, kind of preconceptions of what somebody's going to be like or assumptions, people pick up on it straight away. So I think to be able to come in and work with in intro, it's important to just have that. You know, you come in, have a chat, get to know people who they are, and it works really, really well. And we're fortunate, I suppose, to be able to get funding from places, to have the likes of yourself coming in and getting the people. And when I say lads, I mean males and females. So getting the lads to be able to do things themselves and to learn, because they're being educated. They mightn't use it this year, but I do believe in time to come, and just even the confidence building in something like that, to think, oh, I did that. You know, I started with an empty yogurt tub, and now I have, you know, lettuce or my spinach or whatever it is out there, and I'm cooking it. I'm using it as part of my meal now to cook. So to see the whole process of that, I think is it's really good. It's positive. So
it's important, and I think I use this quote: sow the seed today to gain the advantage in the future. and that's it.
Yep.
Like, I got them to write down their goal, their aspirations, whatever it may be, and they see it flourish as long as they water it, which they are. If anything, they're literally looking at it nearly too much, and they're watering it. I'm like, good lads, fair play to you, easy on the water. But literally, more water is nearly less or better than less, and they'll be transplanted out later on. And that's the whole, I suppose, process of the program that's involved in the likes of Treo. So, Sinead Landers, thanks so much for giving me your valuable time and on this wet weather day that we currently have. And I always say and finish these podcasts by saying, stay tuned, stay classy, and keep it organic.